In today's video, we'll finally be putting a use to this armless Shatterclaw, whose origin story I completely forgot. Can someone please remind me in the comment section? Thanks. Up to now, I've just been using him as a key to fix misaligned controllers on our arena. But today, I'll be turning him into the most terrifying warrior of Halloween 4.0 so far. He hails from the Garden of Banban. He was abandoned by his family. He's extremely aggressive. And he will hunt you down like a spider. He's the one and only Nabnab. In addition to being our third Halloween Mode 4.0 warrior, Nabnab will also be our third Garden of Banban warrior. And as usual, I have no plans for today's build. How am I gonna turn this into Nabnab? I don't even know where to start. Nabnab's legs are the one thing that I just can't seem to figure out. In all the pictures I've seen of him, they're either too skinny or too pointy. And with legs like that, he wouldn't last a single battle. You can't skip leg day as an Akedo Warrior. But then I found this picture. And I know for a fact it comes from actual Garten of Banban 2 gameplay. This is the maintenance room chase sequence. In this picture right here, Nabnab has feet, guys. With that newly found information fresh on our mind, let's start by grinding down Shatterclaw's legs. The goal is to mimic Nabnab's legs without making them too fragile. In order to get better access to the feet, we need to take off the base plate, which is not an easy task. The base plate has two pegs that go up and into the warrior's feet, but that's not what makes removal difficult. It's the glue. They went crazy with the glue. One peg broke off, but that's okay because we have a bunch of extras thanks to today's sponsor, the Parts Drawer.
The Parts Drawer, serving you since 2019. Need a part? The Parts Drawer got it. Got a part? The Parts Drawer needs it. The Parts Drawer.
Thanks Parts Drawer for sponsoring today's video. And while I'm grinding down Shatterclaw, now's a good time to tell you all about our Etsy shop, where we sell Eddie's World merch and custom Akedo Warriors. Now that we have Nabnab's legs finished, let's work on his noggin. Removing Shatterclaw's head really isn't necessary since Nabnab's head will completely cover it, but I'm planning on doing something special with this build. Something I've never attempted before. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video to see what it is, because it's gonna be epic. For all the fabrication on Nabnab, I'll be using my favorite epoxy clay brand, Epoxy Sculpt. And my plan here is to get the shape of the head as close as possible, leave it out in the sun for a little while to stiffen up, then right before it gets too hard, I'll cut the head in half with a knife. That was the plan. But I got a little caught up filming a short. Okay guys, we're about to drain the tank to see every Akedo Warrior that I've ever thrown in here. And now our egg is completely cooked. Which makes this next step a little more difficult because now we need to saw the head in half. And we need this cut to be as straight and square as possible. Laying out an accurate cut line makes this job a little easier, and it also helps to start several cuts from different angles. The cut is far from perfect, but it's nothing that a little sandpaper can't help. After sanding out most of the saw blade marks, I couldn't help but notice how this head is looking very similar to a certain Marvel character. I'm gonna grind him down a little, not because he's starting to look like Juggernaut, but because he's getting pretty heavy. I'm also gonna add some clay to the inside of Nabnab's head to fill the gap that was left by the saw blade and the sanding. To keep the two sides from sticking together, I'll insert a piece of plastic that's the same thickness that I want the gap to be. Now we can work on Nabnab's arms, which I've decided to sculpt in a fixed punching position. And I made this decision based on a number of different reasons. First, I think it represents Nabnab the best because you don't often see him with his arms down. It's also going to give him an edge on offense, which he will need once you see my plans for his split strike button. Maybe you've already guessed. And last, it's going to make my extremely difficult end goal a little easier to achieve. I wanted to do something special for Nabnab's eyes, so instead of just painting them on, I thought it would be a nice touch to use these wiggly eyes that I found in my cabinet. And as I got to work sculpting Nabnab's mouth, I started wondering why I even have these wiggly eyes. Have I ever used them on a custom before, or is Nabnab the first? Let me know what you think in the comments, and after we finish using up this batch of clay, we'll go check. Otherwise, I won't be able to stop thinking about it. Before starting on the teeth, I'm gonna grind down the split strike button flush with the inside of the mouth. And this is all part of the master plan, don't worry. I'm laying out the teeth in pencil the best I can, and I would have been really surprised if I was able to stick to the layout because I drew the teeth so tiny. But I think it turned out even better than my drawing, although it did take me a really long time. But instead of making you watch the whole process, I painstakingly took these shots after each tooth because I love you guys.
This just got awkward.
And now the tongue. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix it up. There. No, wait, I'll pre-shape it on this tool. There, that's better. And it works. Okay, now let's see if there are any googly-eyed warriors in the collection. What was your guess? Did you say yellow from the Rainbow Friends series? If you did, you're correct. Doesn't this series remind you of our Garten of Banban series? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I'm just about ready to reveal my master plan, but first, I want to get Nabnab as smooth as possible. Oh, and here's his party hat that I almost forgot about. Let's replace Nabnab's broken base plate with this one, and drill out the broken peg from inside his right foot. Finally, I'll wrap the new base plate in a thin layer of clay. And that concludes the fabrication portion of this video. Here's Nabnab fully disassembled. And here's each of his 6 parts suspended in a container. And now, the contents of this box, which was literally just delivered by Amazon, will reveal my master plan. What? This is not what I ordered. Seriously, Amazon? If you like this video, don't forget to check out the Eddie's World YouTube channel where we have hundreds of videos just like this. And don't forget to click subscribe so you can see other great videos every Saturday morning. And hit that bell button so you can get notifications. Thanks for watching.